Greetings. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Book Report. Historical novels are an awful lot of fun. They're a great way to learn history and be entertained at the same time. And unlike television movies or movies in the theater that deal with historic issues, they tend to go into an awful lot more detail and an awful lot more depth. One of the problems, though, with historical novels is very few novelists are able to do the research or even want to do the research. Going back and finding out every little detail of a specific time in history, of what people would have dressed like, talked about, eaten, how they would get along, get around, would they be using horses, wagons, all sorts of things have to be dealt with. And that's an awful lot of work. And these days, very few people have the time to get things right. In fact, I saw a documentary once that talked about how Julius Caesar used to flood the Colosseum in Rome with water to have naval battles. Well, Julius Caesar died long before they built the Colosseum, but the people that did that particular documentary didn't know that, so the rest of it was kind of useless. And let's suffice it to say we live in a time where people don't look at the details. But there are exceptions to such things. And this is about a series of books that deals with the Romans, like Julius Caesar. Except there's an awful lot more to this series. Now, everybody loves the Romans. Let's face it, Romans are interesting. They dressed pretty cool. They had great architecture, which we still like to copy. They had gladiator fights, they had drama, they had politics, they had war. I mean, everything you can ask for in a civilization, they had, both good and bad. And there's one lady who I think was one of the greatest novelists of the late 20th century and the early 21st, who wrote a series of books which, bar none, are the very best historical novels of their kind, and I'm speaking of the Masters of Rome series by the late Colleen McCullough. Now, Ms. McCullough, who passed away in 2015 at the age of 77, was Australian. She's most famous for a novel called The Thornbirds, which came out in 1977 and was a romance about family in Australia in the outback. It's quite a fun book, but that's not what she really did that was masterful. Starting in 1990 and completing the series in 2007, she wrote a series of books which I have never found anything better when it comes to teaching or telling the story of Rome. From the year 110 BC until 27 BC, it starts with a man named Gaius Marius, who was considered the father of the Roman army, or at least the modern Roman army back when it was modern in the day, and it ends with Antony and Cleopatra. The books are The First Man in Rome, which came out in 1990, The Grass Crown, which came out in 1991, Fortune's Favorites, which came out in 1993, Caesar's Women, which came out in 1997, Caesar, which came out in 1998, The October Horse, which came out in 2002, and the series was ended in 2007 with Antony and Cleopatra. These books are an education the likes of which you will not find in any university, and many university professors who teach ancient history love them because they are so accurate and so meticulously researched that she actually was able to uncover a few ancient secrets. She was able to figure out what a toga looked like when it was not wrapped around somebody. She actually did the research with some academics and to figure it out. It looks like a smile, by the way. It has like a moon shape to it. Each and every one of her books has an appendices and a detailed glossary. I mean, this is just amazing. The storytelling is hard to put down. She brings the life of Sulla, Gaius Marius, Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, also known as Octavian, Antony, Mark Antony, Cleopatra, Cicero, Pompey, they're all there, and they're all brought to life in amazing detail. Everything down to what they were eating at dinner, how they interacted with their slaves, how they interacted with the public, how they debated in the Senate, how they led soldiers into battle. Everything is vividly described in detail that would not be possible in a Hollywood movie, even if there was an unlimited budget. These are not short books. Each and every one in paperback form is a couple of inches thick. This is a book series that you'd probably go through over an entire summer if you read every day. And I can't recommend it enough. Now, we're living in a time of much political intrigue. We're living in a time of conflict, of war, of betrayal, of romance. I mean, we're living kind of the way the Romans did when they were going from being a republic to an empire. Kind of makes you wonder what the future holds. But this is a wonderful distraction. It's entertaining and it's accurate. It's really accurate. You won't find a single university professor anywhere in the world who's an expert at ancient history who has anything bad to say about these books. Also gets rid of an awful lot of the myths about ancient Rome. One of the things that I found kind of fun in reading this was that the Romans did not use slaves in their warships. They used professional oarsmen who were very well paid and pretty good. I mean, think about it. Would you really want POWs in your engine room? No, they didn't do that, with all apologies to the late Charlton Heston and Ben-Hur. Anyways, this is something that I would definitely get and have it on hand for summer reading. The books are available in regular formats. The paperback, hardcover, most of them still, Audible for audiobook, Kindle, other electronic formats, but one exception. The last book in the series, Antony and Cleopatra, is not available in audiobook format, and I know I've been looking for it for some time, and ahead of doing this report, I went in to do some more research on it. It turns out that it originally was released in a CD form back in 2008 by a company that was called Audio Go, which was then purchased by BBC, which was then closed. It went out of business, and then the catalog was sold to Audible, and then also Random House Penguin, pending what I read, approval of the authors. That happened about the time of Ms. McCullough passing away, and she also had lost her eyesight near the very end of her life. So something probably got messed up with estate management, and the Audible form of that, the audiobook, which would be really nice to hear, is not available and probably won't be out anytime in the near future. Other than that, they're all available, and they're all wonderful reads. You'll start reading this, and you won't be able to stop, well, until you're done. If you like Rome, you like Roman history, you're into what we call the sword and sandal sagas, well, this is definitely a series of books for you. Again, the Masters of Rome series by Colleen McCullough. They are published by Simon & Schuster, one of the largest publishing houses on earth, and they began in the year 1990. The series was concluded in 2007. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies. They might like these books. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. This podcast originates at Substack. My address there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, keep reading and never judge a book by its movie. Good day.